This is NR2003 Predicts. We take the entry list of NASCAR's top 3 series, send them through the ratings algorithm, and see who comes out on top. Here's a few tidbits to know heading in. The driver ratings are updated race by race to reflect the performance of that driver throughout the season, as well as at that specific track in recent years. The races are at 100% length and use normal tire and fuel wear. The starting lineup will match the real-life qualifying using the provisional starting order, not the one that includes drivers heading to the back. The weather will match the real-life start time data, and commentary will match the real-life scenarios, not the standings that will be posted at the end of the video. And as always, this series is for entertainment purposes only. Using artificial intelligence and using the results of this race for gambling purposes is discouraged. Second race of this Michigan doubleheader coming up. Top 20 invert, Chris Buescher on the pole. Green flag flies. Buescher gets out in front to start off with. Tyler Reddick with the push. Got it going on that inside line. Clint Boyer fading back a little bit, but he does have that outside line. The PJ1 was working fairly well yesterday, and we saw a lot of action. But there's going to be some problems off of turn 2 here. A little bit of contact here between possibly Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott. Got into Joey Logano. Ended up getting into Denny Hamlin, turning him for a spin. Looks like Corey LaJoie got the worst of the damage on the outside line. Kind of got squeezed in there. That is going to bring out our first caution on lap number 2. Chris Buescher will take the restart. A couple of guys going down for pit stops, but not too many. Now lead the 17 out there in front. A little bit of contact here in turn 4. Eric Almirola shifting up the track, and Brad Keselowski is going to run into him. Both are going to hit the wall, and the two's going to lose a lot of spots there. Look at the entire field going to the left side of him. So some early trouble there. We'll see if that leads to any more incidents later on. As far as average finish goes at this racetrack, Chase Elliott still out in front, not much changed from yesterday, although Kevin Harvick has bumped up to second as a result of his victory from yesterday's race. More problems here in turns 3 and 4. Eric Jones and Kurt Busch making contact. Tyler Reddick with a heavy hit into the wall along with the 20 car, and it's going to be the 20 who had a solid run yesterday. He was doing all right, but then started to shift back in the late restarts, and now today he's going to go home last with a hard hit into the outside wall. A little contact with the 1 car, which is obviously going to cause problems to Busch and Reddick moving forward. Out in front is the driver that won yesterday, Kevin Harvick, still looking like the strong suit in this one. Broke that tie with those other active drivers, now leading the way in the wins at this track. He's won 3 of the last 4 races here. On problems for Bubba Wallace, his car goes up in smoke just a few laps into this one. And that is going to take him out of the race. Looks like a massive engine failure there. That's what they're reporting, and that is going to send him behind the wall. As far as our top 5s go, Kevin Harvick with that victory gets into a tie with Ken Ziff for the most at this track among the active drivers running today. Ken Ziff didn't have a great day in the race yesterday, finished 17th, but the top 20 invert helped him up near the front in the starting grid, and he now runs 7th. And we have a problem here. Brad Keselowski looks like he has a blown tire. Going through turn 2, he had to take evasive action to try to avoid getting hit from behind. Had some fast-moving traffic behind him. He dives all the way down to the low part of the apron. But that is going to cost him a couple of laps. Absolutely not what he needed. Trying to see if he could win here for the first time. The runner-up from yesterday. Meanwhile, in Stage 1, Kevin Harvick takes that stage win. Chris Buescher maintaining his position. He'll be followed up by Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. Harvick will take the restart after they make a round of pit stops, and Brad Keselowski now finding himself several laps down. Very unfortunate for that Michigan driver, trying to find his first win here at his home track. Joey Logano is not faring terribly well right now. He hasn't been able to work his way up the field, which started a little further back. Had a solid run yesterday, but he has not been able to gain positions. Neither has Jimmy Johnson. He's actually started to fade back a little bit. Started in the top 10. Now he's finding himself way back from the main pack. That's up there competing for the lead. Now we're going to have some more problems here in turn 4. It looks like Alex Bowman pushing up into Cole Custer. And he's going to hit the outside wall. And a big hit with Martin Truex Jr. on evasive action by Matt Kenseth to get around that one. But the 19 had nowhere to go there. Plows into the back of Alex Bowman. See, there's a smoke screen there, and he's trying to go to the inside, but can't quite make it happen. He's going to take a long slide through the grass. He's going to end up going through victory lane. It's going to be a little bit of skid mark cleanup there at the end of the day. Oh, and problems as they're under the caution about to come to pit lane. Clint Boyer goes up in smoke. So Cole Custer first having problems, and then it belongs to Clint Boyer. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of pit strategy here as Joey Logano now out in front. We mentioned he wasn't all the way up at the front, but it looks like he's trying to get track position rather than take a pit stop. Unfortunately, he won't be able to hold it, but teammate Ryan Blaney trying to challenge Kevin Harvick for the lead. A good comeback yesterday, finishing 4th place after having 2 20th places in a row. Trying to see what we can do to get back into the swing of things while Brad Keselowski is trying to just hang on. He'd really like to try to get his laps back, but that's going to be really difficult moving forward if he can't keep up with Kevin Harvick, who is going to take the Stage 2 win as well. Ryan Blaney will fall just behind, followed by Denny Hamlin, Matt DiBenedetto, and Joey Logano. How about Daniel Suarez finding himself in some track position, getting those stage points? John Hunter Nemechek also there in 10th spot for the 2nd time in a row. So get on the restart, and it looks like the guys are staying out. There were a few guys that came down and got pit service, but it seems like guys are trying to not pit here and wait until they get a little further down the line. Trying to see if they can just make it on one more pit stop. We see Denny Hamlin trying to challenge Harvick for the lead. Once again, it's a Harvick and Hamlin show. Now tied at the front of the playoff grid with 5 wins apiece, while Kyle Busch still winless and having trouble working his way forward. He was able to maintain a top 5 despite the disruption from the lead as he was battling with Kevin Harvick. But right now, he has not had the speed. Looks like he has a little damage possibly to his back end. Oh, we've got problems here. Quinn Houff into the outside wall. Might have faded up in front of Brennan Poole. And Michael McDowell going to make contact and send Houff airborne. Well, that's a surprising sight to see, and the 0-0 will get back on all fours when he gets into the grass, and somehow he's driving that thing away. That's pretty crazy to see there, but that is going to bring out another caution. They'll bunch up once again, and we'll see if this shakes things up a little bit. So Harvick's out in front, followed by Hamlin and Blaney. Oh, and Houff is still on the racetrack, and Harvick's going to get held up as he tries to approach him. Was hoping that he was going to take the bottom line, leave the PJ1 open to him, but Harvick's going to get snookered right there as Hamlin's going to go right by. But now he's utilizing the draft from Keselowski, who, remember, is still a lapped car. He is not battling for position here, but he is trying to get one of his laps back just to try to stay in this fight. Unfortunately, though, he cannot stay in front of Harvick for that long, as Harvick has just been a dominating factor here. We see Chase Elliott got a little involved in some of the incident earlier on. Had a little contact that sent Hamlin around ultimately. But now Elliott's up here challenging for a top 3 spot at least. We see Joey Logano. It looks like he's paid off on that earlier gamble to stay out and get track position as he is up here in the top 5. While Chase Elliott is trying to hunt down Kevin Harvick, see if he can find a way around, but unfortunately that 4 car is able to just stay out in front, and right now he's able to get around Keselowski, put him back his lap down, and they're going to take that white flag. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin still there, but Harvick is starting to pull away, and it looks like he's going to be on track for his 6th victory of the season. 20th year of competition, 44 years old, but as it stands right now, his average finish on the season has been 2.5 spots better than at any point in his career. This has been an amazing year for Kevin Harvick, and he's just going to add on to his championship hopes. Coming out of turn 4, no competition from behind. Kevin Harvick going to take the checkered flag and sweep the weekend here at Michigan. Dominant is just about the only adjective you could use to describe the season that Kevin Harvick is having as he comes out on top. Once again, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin will follow in within a second, just unable to close the gap. Ryan Blaney, Matt DiBenedetto will have top 5 days, back-to-back days for Blaney finishing in 4th position. How about Chip Ganassi Racing putting both of their cars in the top 10, Kurt Busch 8th, Matt Kenseth 9th, and John Hunter Nemechek manages to finish 10th in all 3 stages. We also see a couple other rookies having some good days. Christopher Bell, 13, Cole Custer, 14. Chris Buescher, the pole sitter, after that invert, gets 12th. And we see William Byron down there in 15th, last car on the lead lap, while Kyle Busch, as we mentioned, just unable to find speed or get around the traffic. He ends up finishing 17th. A little further back in the field, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. outside the top 20. Brad Keselowski 2 laps down with his tire problem. Alex Bowman had some issues that sent him 3 laps down, along with Tyler Reddick, Ryan Newman, 4 laps down. And guys you would normally see in the top half at least, Clint Boyer, Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones, all having some type of issue that will take them out of the race prematurely. That is it for NR2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoy the race, and we will see you all next time.